Donald Trump on the stump in Uniondale, New York. He's been going for now about 45 minutes in what has been probably the most disciplined rally speech I have heard from him in an awfully long time. Jasmine Wright with us, politics reporter at NOTUS. The Trump campaign seems to think they are doing better than the polls indicate, and the Harris campaign seems to think they are doing worse than the polls indicate. Why is that?
Well, I think that they both recognize, listen, they don't have much agreement on many things, but what they do agree is that this election is going to come down to the margins. And so polls that we've seen today with Harris +6, Donald Trump down 5 points, they're not necessarily using those to determine what they're doing day to day, because both sides recognize just how tight this election will be come November. Now,
I noticed in Trump's speech a difference. There wasn't the crazy conspiracy theories. There wasn't this was a rally speech off a teleprompter. Now, it can go haywire at any moment. But has the Harris campaign developed a playbook for what if we get the more disciplined Donald Trump for the next 45 days, and he did something tonight that he didn't do last night? He kept talking about Kamala Harris, which they don't like.
Right, and I think that that's something that he wasn't able to do in the debate until the very last answer, because the Trump campaign wants Trump to cast Harris as somebody who is a communist, a Marxist, and just completely turn this country left. So I think that they are preparing for all scenarios. But of course, what their playbook is now is trying to contrast Harris's personality with Trump and show that she can be presidential while the former president cannot.
Right. Okay. So there's this issue of being presidential. There's also this issue of policy. We'll put a poll up that I think is one of the more interesting ones that I have seen probably this cycle. Scripps Ipsos poll, 86% of Republicans, 58% of independents, and 25% of Democrats support a mass deportation of illegal immigrants. Kamala Harris sort of made fun of that earlier today, and then Trump turned around and turned her words about him wanting a mass deportation into an ad.
Right. And I think that that is a powerful place for the former president to be, because the Trump campaign recognizes that he is strongest on issues like immigration and the economy. And in the inverse, the vice president's campaign recognizes that she is most vulnerable on the economy and immigration. That's why you saw her from the jump try to really get ahead of it and really cling to that bipartisan border deal that first President Biden wanted done along with Republicans. So I think we're going to see her, one, she's not going to move away from the fact that they don't believe that mass deportations work or is a real thing, but you're going to see her try to tack to the left on immigration, because that's where they feel that the American left is.
Yeah, where they feel like they need to be. Fascinating. The Teamsters came out and declined to endorse anyone. Donald Trump views that as a win. He talked about the Teamsters at the very top of his speech. Jasmine, thank you very much. Good luck. We'll see you on the campaign trail. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.